What is up guys, we're going to be doing a deck profile here for Predaplant. This is the pure variant of the Predaplant. It's pretty interesting, this particular build, though it isn't as great as all the hybrid builds I've been doing with this. It seems more so that Predaplant can actually do a lot better when combined with DDDs or when combined with Layer of Darkness even. But overall on its own, it still offers a really interesting build to it. So let's actually go off the deck profile here. We have 3 copies of Spinodynea. I still think this card is definitely one of the key cards to just help you go off. He's pretty much a 1-card combo really, together with Clamido Sundew. It's pretty nice. We're also playing 3 copies of Orchid Scorpio. Obviously this card starts you off. So yeah, it's really great, and of course it's main engine in different decks as well. Also playing 3 copies of Clamido Sundew. We're really maxing out on a lot of these good predator plants here, simply because this is obviously a pure variant of the deck. Now, I'm actually opting to play 2 copies of Saracenian. Now, it's a really nice hand trap for the deck, but at the same time, I don't think it's necessary to really play 3 copies of it. I think 2 is definitely more than enough. But of course this card can definitely work quite well when you combine it with certain things. There will be a few combos going around using this card, so we'll just get to that later. Maybe I'll do a combo video for this, but we'll just see what happens. Also playing the 1 copy of Cobra here, because you can only utilize it once. We're also playing 2 copies of Yugioh, as well as 1 copy of Drosophilum Hydra. I just think that it's a nice ratio. You could really just alter it whatever way you want, but I like Yugioh simply for the fact that he's a level 6 tuner, so it definitely works incredibly well when you use it with certain other cards as well. And Hydra has some other capabilities as well, and not to mention these 3 cards are kaijus. However, Hydra can be used from the graveyard as well, which is definitely really awesome. Now, combining with Yugioh, we're playing 2 copies of Flytrap. I just think Flytrap and Yugioh, it's a really nice 2-card combo to bring you any level 8 synchro, which is definitely quite nice. Simply summon Flytrap, put a counter on your opponent's monster, and then tribute their monster to summon Yugioh, and you got yourself a level 8 synchro, which is definitely quite nice there. In several old builds of my deck, a lot of people wondering why I didn't play a certain card. Well, over here in this deck, I'm playing 3 copies of Lone Fire Blossom. The reason why I didn't like playing it in the other builds was simply because I was playing Allure of Darkness. This is a fire, so typically I didn't want to have these. I wanted to have as many dark targets as possible for Allure of Darkness. But in this one, I've made it a little bit more flexible here. Playing 1 copy of Glob. This card's really amazing. It's an earth, and you could actually go for a few things here. Really interesting indeed. And to end things off, we're actually playing a new tech here. I'm playing 2 copies of Copy Plant. Now, this card came out back in Crossroads of Chaos. It's a really good plant support card, and maybe I might intend to play this in my Black Rose deck as well. But basically what this card does is you can select a face-up plant monster and have this card's level become equal to that selected monster's. So it helps with both synchro plays as well as XE's plays as well, which is definitely quite nice here. And it's also a tuner monster and a level 1 target, so 1-for-1 target as well. So definitely quite nice here. But that's it for the monsters. Let's move on to traps. Sorry, did I say traps? I meant spells. For spells, we're playing 2 copies of Predator Pruning. Basically your monster reborn of the deck, though I'm only playing 2 copies of it because if your opponent destroys this card, then you also lose the monster. So I figure 2 is more than enough for it. But the nice thing is that it is still searchable off Saracenian there as well. So playing Polymerization, simply because we're playing Cobra. We're also playing a Fusion Substitute, 1 on the field, but mostly the graveyard effect is just really nice. Playing an Ultra Polymerization simply because you can bring back materials to continue doing link summons. Really great to actually just go into Summon Sorceress with that card. We also have a 1-for-1 because we have plenty of level 1s in this deck. And I'm playing 1 copy of Predaplant. Now this card came out in Soul Fusion, of course, and I've been meaning to do an updated deck profile for it. So yeah, with Predaplant, I'm playing it in this particular build, though I only think 1's more than enough. but it really combos well with Banksioga and Hydra here in the deck, so it definitely has been working more so at 1 than anything, and it also has a bit of protection as well. But overall, I wouldn't really bother playing more of it unless I was playing a very specific build. Maybe I'll come up with a deck profile for that. I did actually have another build of Predaplants combining Black Garden and Predaplast as well, but I'll have to get to it at another time. Playing 1 copy of Predaplonics. This card's similar to Predapruning in the sense that it's a monster reborn, only it has less of a downside, so if they destroy this, then you still get your monster anyway, so it's a lot better than Predapruning. But overall, it does restrict you to level 4 lower Predaplant monsters, not to mention you have to pay as well, but overall, every turn you do get to keep special summoning 1, so it helps you generate materials. Really nice there. Playing 2 copies of Instant Fusion because we have plenty of targets, it's a fusion deck, and it's also a searchable card as well, so it's definitely really nice. A new tech in this particular deck, I'm playing 2 copies of Transmodify. We have a lot of different levels, and it's really easy for them to go up by 1, so overall Transmodify definitely has been working well with this deck, and yeah, definitely quite like it indeed. Speaking of changing levels, we're also playing 2 copies of Downbeat. It's basically Transmodify, except it's going down a level, and again, it works both ways. Definitely helps out with combos. Might be releasing a combo video soon, so do stay tuned for that. Of course, we're playing 2 copies of, sorry, bumped the camera there. 2 copies of Allure of Darkness, just for a bit of consistency. Yes, we have a few non-dark targets as well, but overall this deck is a little bit more flexible. If we weren't playing Lone Fire Blossoms or the Copy Plant, then I might throw in a 3rd copy of Allure of Darkness, but for now it's definitely okay. There's no problems whatsoever. Playing 2 copies of Refusion because this card is insanely broken. You can just bring back any fusion monster from your graveyard. It's just really, really good here, and I think 2 copies of that plus 2 copies of Predapruning, there's no need for Monster Reborn. It's just really amazing. To end things off, we're playing a Fragrance Storm, just a really interesting tech. Now, I might play more of these, but overall, this card is insanely difficult to find because it's from Crossroads of Chaos, so yeah, if I can find any more, I'll probably put in a 2nd copy. But for now, I think the 1, it's definitely working really amazingly. Combos really well with Saracenians. But yeah, that's pretty much for the main deck. Let's move on to the extra deck. Alright, so of course, the extra deck, we gotta move on here. A lot of fusion monsters. We're gonna be playing a Greedy Venom Fusion Dragon. I think 1's more than enough, simply because he can come back from the grave anyway. I used to play 2 of these, but overall, I've designed a new deck version where the extra deck's actually quite tight, so I can only fit in 1. I really wish I could play 2, but it's pretty much become I don't know, comparable to Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon now, so it's definitely a really, really nice card to actually include in the deck. Also playing 1 copy of Starving Venom. I used to play 2 of them in the deck as well, but overall I just couldn't fit it in the deck at all. Like, I just ran out of space, so playing 1 for now. But of course, since this is a Soul Fusion update, we're playing Predaplant Dragostapelia. Amazing card, really easy to go into because together with Clamedo Sundew, you can easily get into this quite a bit. Also places on Predator counters as well, so you know, and you have 3 Kaijus in the deck, Banksiogas and the Hydras, and also negates monster effects as well. It's just really amazing overall, but just like these, the space is a little tight, so I'm only playing 1 copy of this. I am actually playing 2 copies of Chimera Fleischer. Was playing 3 of them, but I realized that in a game I only ever go through 2 of them anyway, and with Fusion Substitute I can return it back to the extra deck to use it again if I need to. It's typically my go-to fusion monster in the game, so definitely quite nice there. Alright, so for the remaining fusion monsters, we're playing 1 copy of Sea Monster of Theseus here. Just a level 5 tuner, very nice, and an instant fusion target, as well as Millennium Eyes Restrict. You can just play Thousand Eyes Restrict instead, but overall, you know, this one relies more so on monster effects. It's up to you what you want to play. Thousand Eyes Restrict works pretty well as well, but basically these cards are just additional link monsters or link materials, as well as some synchro materials as well, depending on what you want to do with them. But of course, going into Millennium Eyes Restrict, it's a Dark Fusion, so overall together with a Dark Monster, you can go into Dragostapelia really easily there. For Synchros, we're playing a Star Eater, just a level 11, really easy. Banksioga plus a Hydra is a total of 11, so you can go into Star Eater pretty easily here. And I said that this deck was tight, and it really is. So with Star Eater, it's definitely well worth playing because it actually occurs that much. Playing a Cyframe Lord Omega as well as a Beals because level 8s are incredibly easy. I wish I had space for more, but unfortunately these will have to do. Also playing a Naturia Beast, it is possible to actually go into a Naturia Beast. I'll get to it later. But for Link Monsters, we're playing a Summon Sorceress, of course, because all your monsters are plants. We're playing Underclock Taker here because it's easy to OTK with these big beat sticks here combined together with the Underclock Taker. We're also playing a Link Rebo because we have level 1s, and we're actually playing Ruprodocus here. It works incredibly well because it actually helps me go into my Naturia Beast. Not to mention Globe is also an Earth monster, so together Naturia Beast actually comes out quite a bit in this particular variant of the deck. But that's pretty much it for this deck, so I hope you guys enjoyed this and hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you next time.